Welcome back to another episode of Flavors and Knowledge, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of cooking, the science behind ingredients, and the rich stories that make food so much more than just a meal. I'm your host, Noah Mitchell, speaking from Chef Walter's Cooking School in Rhode Island, USA, bringing you narrated, factual culinary education with honest food talk and a few opinions along the way. Today, we're talking about a food that doesn't just belong to a place, it is the place. It's a culinary tradition so fiercely local, so stubbornly secret, that if you haven't grown up with it, the name won't just confuse you, it will actively mislead you. We're talking about the Rhode Island pizza strip. Depending on who you ask, it goes by different names: pizza strip, red strip, bakery pizza, party pizza. The name changes based on your age or which corner of Providence you call home, but the food itself, that never changes, and neither does the fierce, almost possessive pride Rhode Islanders have for it. Now, if you're from outside the state, you might be picturing a slice of pepperoni. You'd be wrong. And this secrecy, it's not an accident. Think about the New York slice or the Chicago deep dish. Both got packaged up, franchised, and shipped to every mall in America. The pizza strip never did that. It lived and still lives in small, family-run Italian bakeries. It was born there and it has never left. It stayed close to the people who made it, never falling prey to the commercial ambition that turns regional food into a national brand. In Rhode Island, that considered a feature, not a flaw. As one local baker, Eric Pomeroy, put it, pizza strips give us all a sense of place, rooting us in ways we probably don't even fully understand. So what exactly is a pizza strip? First, let's clear up the confusion. If you walk in expecting a conventional slice, you'll be pleasantly surprised, though initially confused. A pizza strip is a rectangular piece of thick focaccia-style bread. On top is a bold, herb-seasoned tomato sauce, that's it. No mozzarella, no toppings, no cheese pull. The sauce is what Rhode Islanders call spicy, which here doesn't mean heat but complexity. Dried oregano, generous basil, cracked black pepper, and maybe a whisper of red pepper flakes. It's intensely savory, aggressively herbed, and completely satisfying without the need for cheese. Now here's a critical rule. They are served at room temperature, not hot from the oven, not cold from the fridge. Room temperature. If you challenge this, expect a firm and affectionate defense from anyone who grew up eating them. There are historical and practical reasons for this, and they go back over a century. Visually, the strip sits somewhere between Roman pizza al taglio and Sicilian esfinchen. But it's neither. It's something Rhode Island made its own, an adaptation shaped by the constraints and ingenuity of working-class immigrant life. And you won't find them at a pizzeria. You find them at Italian bakeries, places where the air smells of fermented dough and slow-cooked tomato. The regulars know the baker by name and have been ordering the same amount since childhood. To understand the strip, you have to understand the people who made it. Beginning in the 1880s, thousands of Italians arrived in Providence, mostly from the southern regions of Campania, Sicily, and Calabria. They settled on Federal Hill, transforming it into one of the most vital little Italys in the Northeast. By 1920, Italians were the largest foreign-born group in Rhode Island. They brought their food traditions with them, but they also brought the necessity of adaptation. Ingredients from home weren't always available. They made do with what was accessible: canned tomatoes, local flour, olive oil when they could get it. And in the process, they transformed what they knew. The pizza strip's origins are likely in those home kitchens. This was an older, austere tradition, pizza marinara, which is tomato, garlic, and oregano without cheese, predating the famous margherita by decades. In Providence's early bakeries, the strip was born from practicality. Bakers already had hot ovens running. They had leftover dough. They had tomatoes, herbs, and oil. They stretched the dough across a pan, coated it in sauce, and slid it into the oven alongside the daily bread. The result was inexpensive, filling, and portable. It could sit in the bakery case all morning without spoiling, carried home in a paper bag and eaten without utensils. It was born from abundance and want simultaneously, from the immigrant's gift for turning almost nothing into something deeply nourishing. If the pizza strip was born in the early 20th century, it was the Great Depression that cemented its place in Rhode Island's food culture. During the 1930s, it was one of the most affordable foods a bakery could sell. A tray of dough and seasoned sauce could feed a large family for almost nothing. It became a cornerstone of the state's food identity during those lean years. That room temperature tradition wasn't just a culinary choice, it was an economic asset. No refrigeration was needed. It could sit in the case all day. It was meant to be grabbed, not plated, eaten standing up, not at a table. Even today, the value remains. A full sheet of strips usually costs under $15. Individual pieces are $1 or $2. In an era of $10 fast food meals, the pizza strip is still one of the most generously priced foods in New England. Now here is the strangest part. Unlike nearly every other regional American pizza, the pizza strip has not spread. It hasn't been franchised. It hasn't appeared on trendy menus in Brooklyn or LA. It has stayed in Rhode Island, held close by the community that created it. Eric Pomeroy, the baker I mentioned earlier, thinks this containment is part of its appeal. He said, "It's so strange that nobody outside of Rhode Island knows what to make of it." That strangeness, how can a food this good remain this local, has become part of its identity. To know the pizza strip is to know something about Rhode Island that most of the world does not. For the people who grew up with them, pizza strips are pure nostalgia in edible form. They carry the smell of a Saturday morning bakery, the sound of a crowded room, the image of a grandmother's kitchen. At Rhode Island celebrations, there is almost always a white cardboard box, the kind tied with red and white string, opened flat on a table, the strips arranged in neat rows. People reach for them the way you reach for something that has always been there. The tradition is very much alive. D. Pomeroy's Bakery in Johnston is in its 5th generation. La Salle Bakery in Providence still starts baking before dawn. Vienna Bakery in Barrington has been open since 1923. Sal's Bakery on Chalkstone Avenue remains a fixture. And Colvito, in Narragansett, has, since 1992, packaged individual pieces for beachgoers, perhaps the most Rhode Island delivery mechanism imaginable. So next time you find yourself in the Ocean State, skip the pizza parlor. Find an Italian bakery. Look for the red-stained trays behind the glass. Ask for a strip. Eat it at room temperature. And taste a piece of history that, for once, stayed exactly where it belongs. Ultimately, dear followers, thanks for listening and for the privilege of your time. In conclusion, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining us on today's journey through flavor and discovery. You'll find all the relevant links in the show notes, including details on our cooking classes, the full notes and recipes from this episode, and our calendar for culinary tourism tour. Be sure to subscribe to our free newsletter to stay connected and informed. Remember to taste thoughtfully, cook with passion, and continue exploring the boundless world of food. Subscribe for more, share with a fellow food enthusiast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep your eyes on the fire and stay curious. The content for this episode is written by Chef Walter and produced by Simval Media, USA.